Keeping venomous reptiles is an unforgiving hobby, requiring proper training and lots of experience. One simple mistake can be the difference between life and death. Remember, the most venomous snake in the world is the one that just bit you. There are no venomous snakes with training wheels. Just because you see viperkeeper handle snakes a certain way does not mean you should try it too.
We haven't visited these critters in a while. They're becoming a lot less shy, although they're still quite shy and very skittish.
Whoa!
We had a very rough start together. And they can be very cranky, as you can see. Well, you know, they're out in anticipation of getting fed, but first thing I have to do is get the other water dish out of there. These are technically Naya annulata ringed water cobras, but these are from Congo. And they have a very different pattern than the ringed, but genetically, you know, DNA wise, they're too close to annulata, therefore can't be awarded their own species. But as I was saying, I can't feed them until we get their dirty water dish out and put a clean one in there, because, you know, we put bass shiners in for them to feed, and I've learned via a friend that if you throw some rat dinks in the water dish with the shiners, they will accidentally grab a hold of them. Oh, I know. Well, what'd you do that for? Look, now you're all pissed because you slammed your own face on the wall. You know, I'm to blame. Viperkeeper made me do that. Yeah. Well, see, this is why we're working with the glove near them. Now, I seldom use gloves. The reason why is the vast majority of venomous species can bite through them, but they will offer you a limited amount of protection in certain circumstances. And this is one of those circumstances. They have relatively short fangs, and I'm not trying to pick them up. I'm just trying to get the glass back in the cage. So in a minute I can introduce something tasty for it to eat. So that's one. Here's, oh my, we are in a cranky mood. It's because you haven't given me food yet, Mr. Viperkeeper. Hi there. Oh, I know, I know. The other one down here, which probably, this is the female. Can't we tell without even having to look at its rear quarters? The male is sort of hiding in his little hut down here. And he's not being confrontational like the female. You think that I tried to take away its chicken nuggets or something, and it doesn't like that, but...
Boy, considering how shy they used to be, she's turned into a real hellion.
Yeah, well, they're still very shy. It's just that... you know, she wants something to eat, and I haven't provided it yet. Yeah. Now, these water cobras have a quite neurotoxic venom. It's actually just neurotoxic, surprisingly. Most cobras have a neurotoxic component, And a cytotoxic component is, but Brian Fry and his team demonstrated very nicely in a well-done paper that snakes that have a defensive bite, like your typical monocle cobra or an Indian cobra, Cape cobra, they will also have a cytotoxic effect, and you can tell the animals that display and threaten and have bold patterns or colors have this cytotoxic component, whereas cobras with very obscure patterning, like the water cobras, they have just a neurotoxic venom, and of course it's very neurotoxic and can kill you. But that was a very interesting finding. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll add water to the bottom cage.
In the meantime, we're visiting with the blue Insularis here, who keeps coming forward hoping for food.
And she was actually fed. Insularis are just no slouches. When they're on feed, they're on feed. Yes, I just threw something in your water dish. There's 2 rat pinks. I'll get 2 more rat pinks for the male, and now I'll go get a bunch of fish.
We always feed them at the end of the day because they won't eat until we leave the room. So as soon as the fish go in, we will say goodnight to these charming little snakes. You're not sure where to look as I move my hand back and forth.
Okay, so we're going to stop the camera right now because, as a rule, I don't do any live feeding on camera, and since these are alive, we're not going to show that. PETA is making a big deal about how cruel we are. The animals are just doing what they would normally do in the wild, except they're not in the wild and they have to be fed. And unfortunately on this planet, if you're here, somebody else is going to eat you to survive. I mean, it's as simple as that. So just get over it. Okay, so since the fish are plentiful right at the moment, we will feed them up. Oh, just go eat, you toad. So, as Lori was saying, we do this at the end of the day because they would really prefer to do this without us watching. So, that's exactly what we will do, is we will leave the lair. It's winter time, and the lights will go off at 5:30 Eastern time, just like sundown, and that's very shortly right now. So I got to get next door and feed the actual ringed water cobra. So I'll leave you with, I haven't shown the remaining members of the synchronized eating team, also known as the Turan vipers, because the female and the male are quite old. They were full adults and wild caught in 2006, I think, 2005 or 2006. And the girl has developed some ankylosing stenosis in her spine. The male's doing much better than the female, but the female had a very bad shed, hasn't been eating, not really drinking, which doesn't help that. So I'm going to try to help her out and give her a soak. And while she's out soaking, I'll tidy up her cage a little bit. This is going to be real tricky because, you know, like I said, her spine is fused in some places, which makes shedding and eating all the more difficult. Speaking of difficult. Alright, well, I'll have to leave that on for now. Okay, girlie, come on, let's have a soak. You can see a lot of skin on her. So we're just going to let her sit in there and maybe drink. You can see her neck doesn't move as well as it used to. And I'll tidy up her cage. Oh, this is not good. These are my secure storage totes. I really like these. I get them from the Container Store. They have sealing latching lids. I put some holes on the top to have a little bit of air in and out. This way I can take the animal out, secure it, and do what I need to do. Also, there's smaller versions that I use as treatment containers where there's a nebulizer setup, which I'll show you somewhere down the road, where I can nebulize in antibiotics so they can breathe it in. It's really works very effectively if they have a respiratory infection, and I can leave them in the tub for the entire treatment period, and this way they're not being handled. You know, their butt hurt because I removed them from their cage, but you know, you don't have to give them injections. It's relatively easy and straightforward to treat them. It's no touch process, so this is all very good stuff. So need the jaws of life to pry this cage
Yeah,
vertically.
so.
So we'll pause the film here because there's nothing else to see until I put her back. This is what I call the jaws of life. It's a common carpentry tool, Irwin Quick Grip. No, it's not named after Steve Irwin. But you can normally, this is facing inward so you can clamp stuff together. Well, I can reverse this and I can push things apart, just like the jaws of life that the firemen use. So here's how it works. So you wedge it in here and you give it a little squeeze, and all of a sudden the stuck glass comes out, and it's very easy to work with. And then once you get the glass out, you can release the jaws of life until you're ready to put the glass back into place. Set this here.
Oh, look who was way up there.
Well, hi there, dude. Hi, how you doing? Oh, I know, I'm just a meanie. Clean water dish. Clean up exchanger substrate. He's wondering what's going on.
Hoping that some tasty tidbit will fall into his cage.
Yeah, some sausage.
Oh, I
slips
am
in.
just so tempted to tickle that belly there. It's
Yeah, you can do it. Now he touched me. He touched me. That human touched me. Okay, so where have all the dustpans gone?
that sounds like a song.
This one is my least favorite for cleaning the cages because it has this rubber lip. So I have to seek out.
What are you so anxious about here? You're trying to get out. You want to come out for a visit? I don't think that's going to be happening. Okay, now you're upset. That is a very long snake.
What the hell? Okay, her cages have.
All been refurbished,
Yep.
nice and clean.
Where is our girl here? Hi, I'm sorry to have to do that to you. I'm even.
She's finally settled down a bit.
Yeah, I'm even more sad that you wouldn't stay on my hook. Oh, yeah, I know. I know. I am such an annoying person. Oh, I know. I'm sorry, girlie.
That's the first time I've ever heard her hits.
Well, no, these are blunt nose. Believe it or not, these are can be quite vocal. I know, I'm sorry.
I don't know, in all the feeding videos with the synchronized eating team, I don't recall hearing them, but then again, you weren't rubbing their back with a hook, so.
Yep. Well, let's see if I can get that front end in the tube and get some of this other stuff off. So we'll try tubing her. So select the tube from the arsenal of tubes.
You're okay, you're okay. Calm down.
Oops. Snake fart. Okay.
A little bit of snake poop. Well, at least she's doing it in the water and not messing up her nice, fresh cage. Oh, poor thing. Poor old girl.
Well, I'm hoping her spine doesn't feel as stenosed as I worried it was, but these are just such beautiful species. I'm really disappointed that they came from Uzbekistan, and it's very difficult to get shipments from Uzbekistan, as you can probably figure that out. Easy, easy, easy. Oh yes, I know.
Well, she's still got some fight in her.
Yep. Now, when they were the synchronized eating team, they were known for biting each other if I didn't synchronize it just correctly. It's a tricky maneuver. These snakes have lots of metalloproteases in their venom, and we don't want to get it under our skin. I just might toss her down just to get rid of her. There we go. All right. So
Now she's swimming in her poopy water. Ew.
yeah, so we're gonna. I forgot that she pooped in her water. So. Really damn happy camper.
Oh.
She just doesn't hook well. She has the wet noodle trick down pat. Okay, so hooking, two hooking doesn't work. We always resort to hook and tailing. And hooking and tailing is something we do very carefully. Let's just sort of leave her. I know you're quite upset. You can see how the upper segment of her neck is just not moving very well.
Oh, girly. Yeah. You look a little bit like me in the morning. I don't move very well either. A little bit stiff, a little bit cranky.
Yeah, alright. Well, I think she's had enough fun for one trip. Alright, so even though she swam in her poop water, we know that they rest their heads on their poop quite often, so I'm not too worried about that. So now I am going to first wash my hands and then put her glass in, and Mrs. Viperkeeper will monitor the situation. And these snakes are from a very arid climate, and never had a bed shed at all. But they get old, and and we're old, and we're having problems that we haven't had before. So we're going to use the cage shield, because that will interrupt any attempt to strike. That will probably give me enough time to get my fingies out of the way. I'll shift that way. Okay, done deal. Hopefully that makes her feel a little bit more comfortable, and hopefully, it doesn't stress her out too much and put her over the edge, which sometimes these sort of procedures can do. This is why, unless it's absolutely necessary, you don't mess with the animal, unless of course it's some clown like Thud here, who's very easy to work with, and unless of course he thinks your fingers are mice. He's had his 2 mice today, and he's on a 2 mouse maintenance dose, and he's solidly built, not obese, but he would definitely eat till he exploded, so we don't overfeed him. So that's it for today.
Bye-bye, girly. You can relax now.